Right. Welcome to this explainer. Let's dive straight into the hidden global world of medicine safety and the writers who literally keep it running. If you've ever found yourself wondering what happens after a medicine leaves a clinical trial and gets prescribed in the real world, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're setting the scene for a really comprehensive journey into pharmacovigilance, mapping out a career path that is not only fascinating, but completely essential to public health. Just take a second to think about the sheer scale of this. 4 billion. That's the number of prescriptions filled in the UK and US alone, every single year. And every single one of those is monitored by an invisible, highly coordinated safety system. Most patients never even see this system, and frankly, that is the whole point. It operates quietly in the background to keep all of us safe. But, billions of prescriptions generate a frankly mind-boggling ocean of raw data. And raw data on its own? It can't protect a patient. Without medical writers translating that data into clear, regulated documents, the entire system just breaks down. These writers are the ultimate translators between raw, cold clinical numbers and the human beings making critical safety decisions. So how do we tackle this? Here is our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start with the hidden safety infrastructure, then tackle the language of safety, map out the global ecosystem, zoom in on the medical writer's actual craft, talk about communicating risk, and wrap up with the future, and specifically your future in it. By the end, you'll know exactly where your skills plug into this vital profession.
Let's go ahead and open Chapter 1, the hidden safety infrastructure.
The rigorous safety guardrails we rely on today didn't just appear out of thin air. They were, very unfortunately, forged through history and paid for in patience. You look back at 1957, and the thalidomide disaster exposed a terrifying gap. There was simply no systematic way to track real-world adverse effects. That tragedy catalyzed massive change, giving rise to the UK Committee on Safety of Drugs in '63, the WHO's global monitoring program right after, all the way to the 2010 mediator event driving EU law. These aren't just dates, they're the absolute bedrock of detecting and preventing medicine-related harms. Moving swiftly on to Chapter 2, the language of safety, where words have regulatory clocks attached to them.
In drug safety, precision is absolutely everything. You can't just right-click and use a thesaurus here. Take an adverse event, or AE, versus an adverse drug reaction, an ADR. An AE is any untoward medical occurrence. So, say a patient sprains their ankle while taking part in a clinical trial. That's an AE. No causal link to the drug is needed. But an ADR? That implies causality. It means we suspect the medicine actually caused the issue, and applying that implied causality changes the entire reporting trajectory.
It's the exact same story with severe and serious. Actually, let me be very clear on this. They are never synonyms in this world. Severe simply describes subjective intensity, basically how bad the patient felt. Serious, however, is a strict yes or no regulatory status, like whether the event resulted in hospitalization. Misusing those two simple words can inadvertently delay a 15-day regulatory reporting clock, and honestly, that'll lead your team straight to a major inspection finding. Okay, Chapter 3, Inside the Global Ecosystem. This is a fascinating fly-through of how healthcare professionals, regulators, and massive databases all connect across borders. Let's trace the actual journey of a single individual case safety report, an ICSR. It literally starts on the ground. Step 1 might be a hurried phone call from a hospital corridor. That report flows through triage in Step 2, then coding and medical review in Step 3. By Step 4, the medical writer steps in to craft a highly structured narrative. Finally, it's submitted to a global database like Vigilance in Step 5. The medical writer is the crucial linchpin holding that entire sequence together. Which brings us nicely to Chapter 4, the medical writer's craft. We're zooming right down to the writer's desk to see what a normal, highly sustainable 9-to-5 day actually looks like. You'll be getting hands-on with the 6 core documents these writers produce. This ranges from writing those single-patient ICSR narratives using strict CIOMS structures, all the way up to massive aggregate safety reports that synthesize data over months or even years. You might draft risk management plans, update medicine labels, or even write lay summaries targeted at a 12-year-old's reading level. Through all of it, you're translating complex science for the specific humans who need to read it. And that leads us into Chapter 5, Communicating Risk to Protect. Because in this field, craft isn't just about nice prose. It has serious real-world consequence.
The safety documents you draft will outlive your project and directly influence prescriber habits all over the globe. Because the stakes are that high, we operate on a strict, non-negotiable ethical framework. You never write what you cannot evidence. The patient always comes first. You absolutely must preserve the reporter's verbatim words. There's no silent polishing here. You source name everything, ensure absolute data privacy, and write every single draft as if a regulatory inspector is standing right over your shoulder.
Finally, Chapter 6, The Future and You. Let's look at the remote-friendly global trajectory of this career and how technology is reshaping it right now. It is really fascinating to see the impact of AI on this field. Right now, roughly 60% of senior medical writers use AI assistants to help with first drafts and quality checks. But here's the critical part. 100% of regulated outputs still require human sign-off. AI is a fantastic, powerful assistant, but the human writer remains the ultimate author, decision-maker, and guardian of accuracy. To wrap things up, we want to leave you with a concrete 30, 90, and 365-day action plan. This is designed to help you build a personal pitch and seamlessly transition into the field, whether you're coming from nursing, pharmacy, or the life sciences. In 30 days, you master the vocabulary. In 90 days, you finish an advanced course and start networking. And in a year, you could be holding your first pharmacovigilance writing role. So as you embark on this learning path and look out at this vast, hidden infrastructure that protects patients globally, the only real question left is, where will you sit? Will you be crafting individual narratives, synthesizing aggregate reports, or communicating directly with patients? The system is waiting for your skills. Let's get started.